You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files Season 3 with your hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also visit us at www.kyxfiles.com. And now, on to our show.
This, and it looks like they literally poured diatomaceous earth from a bag into these boxes.
Yeah, I wondered about that because that's what I was saying when I was looking at it was you can see clearly that they're like gray skinned in nature. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So why would you put more diatoms in unless you were trying to stop, bacteria, things like that? Which isn't a shoo-in that they're real, because if they are paper mache aliens and they do have a bunch of animal bones and tissue in them, then preventing bacteria would be a big deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not a shoo-in, but it's compelling a little bit.
So I'd like to do a little more research on this.
Yeah.
If I had time, I would love to. Let's see if I can save this image here. Fuck, it's a web file. You know what? I'm just going to do a share screen. I'll make it a big, pretty picture here.
That picture that you kept showing, it does show 3 toes.
Can you see 3 toes on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So here, take a look at this real quick. Where is it at? It doesn't feel like the right page. There we go. All right, take a look at that. So that's pretty dense stuff they got there.
Yeah.
They're using a big scoop shovel to, get rid of it. But it just feels like if that stuff was packed around it,
Right,
it would be more dense. And I think, like what you said, is like maybe if they poured it on the corpses to keep the bugs away, but why would you need to do that?
That to me that takes back to like for one, you would have to be talking about an era when they knew about diatomaceous earth and what uses it had, which I don't know the origin of when they discovered it and when they started using it, but I'd almost think like if these were actual alien bodies and they did find them, you would have done it on purpose. You would have poured like either stuck them where the diatomaceous earth could protect them, or you brought the diatomaceous earth and did it say they were discovered in a diatom mine or around one or close to one?
It's set in
One. Okay.
But that's just a big dig. That's not an actual mine. It's like
The one thing too is, like he just showed, it's not like it's like back in the olden times where you're thinking of a mine, just a guy in a pickaxe, hard hat, chipping away. These guys use heavy equipment. How the hell did they notice these things? Why they're
That's what
scooping?
I'm saying. Like, how
Yeah.
far down is diatomaceous earth in the first place?
so. Well, it's fossilized algae, so I'd imagine it's just wherever the water tables were. That is unprocessed diatomaceous earth.
Okay.
That's what it looks like when you're scooping it. Basically, it's kind of like a gravel almost.
I wonder how long it takes to create diatomaceous earth. Like, how old is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's find out.
The reason I say I wonder that is because it says here it was discovered in 1836.
In some ways.
Didn't they? Go ahead, Tyler.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to make a joke. Continue. You guys are actually doing some hard science.
I was going to say, didn't they say that these things were thousands of years old?
I thought they just said 1,000.
They said that they were found down in a diatom mine in Peru near the Nazca lines. and they're assuming that they're thousands of years, over 1,000 years old.
They have to be if they found them in a mine. It means they dug them up, which means that these things they died or were buried when that diatomaceous earth wasn't diatomaceous earth yet. It was surface, or just under
Water time. More.
Yeah, it would have been water because diatomaceous earth is literally algae. It's dead algae. I mean, right? You would assume, right? When algae is
Right.
in water, isn't it?
It's fossilized algae. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So hold on a second. Wouldn't that mean that it's at one point in time that was water? Like there was water around there?
yeah, it has to be because you can't get
But if it's
fossilized algae, without an ocean or a large land like body of water.
could they have fell into water and just
I just think that's unlikely.
then like fish would have like picked at them?
Well, what if I know I'm throwing a really far line out on this one, but what if
Mm-hmm.
these two little fellas didn't say there was a bunch of them, like
They said they had 14. Yeah.
14 of them, right? So you got Sleepy, you got Dopey, you got Cranky, you got all of them. Everybody is standing by the beach and they're looking at this pool of water and it's just loaded with algae. All of them slip and fall in at the same time. They all slipped and they fell. He reached. You remember the barrel of monkeys? They're all holding on to each other.
So,
They're all trying. They fall in. The algae kind of swallows them up, and there you go. The algae itself, not only does it kill them, but it also preserves them for thousands of years, so that we can sit here and discuss them on our podcast, and present it to the Mexican government or whatever.
Or around the time, like what, like let's like I wonder if like you could figure out like rising sea levels or bodies of water around that area. How much was it up back then, and how much it receded since then?
Or if we were a narrative type show, we would tell you that there was a population of these things living on Earth at one point, and no big accident happened. Their grave site where they buried their dead had flooded with algae, thick water, and it preserved them over time. And that was right before they got their ship fixed and they took off.
So diatomaceous earth is formed at the bottom of a seabed.
Okay, so there we go.
The diatoms are heavy silica based and they do not decay easily. So when the diatoms die, they pile up, trillions of them pile up at the bottom of a seabed. And when the sea dries out, that's where you get diatomaceous earth.
So that's and that only happens in like salt water, or just I feel like I'm being a little ignorant on this, but I don't know if it has to be salt water, but there's algae in lakes, right? Freshwater.
Yeah, but you're not going to have the body of water to create diatomaceous earth on the scale.
On that scale.
On that scale.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So my brain is kind of on fire with a theory here. Okay.
I just want to know, if there's 14, then where's the fucking ship?
That's what I'm getting at. Okay. It's gonna sound. I know this is gonna sound like I'm being a shit, but I'm not. I swear. Okay.
He is.
Drake equation says there's at least 10,000 planets out there in the universe that can support life. Okay. How many times have you driven to work and you've seen somebody broke down on the side? Probably countless, right? Countless times. And I've even been that person a few times. Right? Good old Chevy Cruze. So what if these dudes were just on their way somewhere and they broke down? You know, maybe they crash landed. Maybe they needed some time to fix the ship. You know, maybe it's kind of like, the rest of spacefaring. You know, if you go up in a spacecraft that NASA pays for, and you go to some planet or whatever, and you die, you don't come back because weight is priceless. So, or weight distribution and weight reduction, right? So if you jump on a ship and you fly over to Mars and you hang out and you die on Mars somehow, you were buried on Mars, because why deal with extra weight if you don't have to? It's not really like, they're not like being insensitive. It's more of a logistical thing. It's like, hey, we use less fuel if we don't have as much weight. So, you know, Fred here, he didn't make it. I think Fred would want us to leave him. In this case, what if they landed? What if they needed to do something? What if they were fixing something? What if some of them died? What if they didn't die here? What if they died on the ship? What if their stasis failed? What if they had a bunch of those dudes in stasis? And what we're seeing is the way they lay in their stasis pods. I don't know. I mean, it's an out there, it's a far out there theory, but law of averages, millions of years ago to now, can we sit here and say for certain that no one's ever pit stopped here on Earth to fix their ship?
And then, it goes to the question, like, if you said that they died,
What if they died in their ship?
died in the ship, and you got to think about that. I like, as crappy it may sound, is like this. Think about people that died, like back in the times where we were on, like sailboats and shit. People
Yeah,
died, and they would have to get rid of the body, or it would start making people sick because
exactly.
of
Yeah, there's so many reasons to get rid of a body.
yeah. It's like
Oh,
it.
um,
So, like, okay, let's think about that. Like, okay, like, depending on what your theory is, okay, say that they stopped, they got out, they were around this area, they were trying to fix their ship. Some of them died, and the area that either they buried them or they just laid them there, and then over time, water arose, and then algae started to die, piling on them over and over and over for thousands of years.
Are you
And then,
saying that these aliens predate the dinosaurs?
I'm saying that they, if to have been found inside in the mine, like dug out, they have to. They have to be older. There's no natural way that they're going to be just occurring in a mine that isn't dug yet. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
did they dig out the mine and bury them and then cover it back up so that humans could discover it, thousands of years later, millions of years later?
isn't there a way to test that, like the how many years? I know
Yeah.
they do that with the like studies in like the poles. Like they'll
Yeah.
there's like because they do core samples, and like the only way you're able to get certain like these layers or something. I think Bill Nye said something about this on I can't remember who he was talking to. It was that
He
big
was
debate.
talking to what's
The
this dude's
guy
name?
the guy at the Creation Museum, right?
John Hamm or whatever.
Yeah, and he said the only way we could get this is if it was over
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of years old.
Right.
So I wonder if could we do that with that, like that same type of mind?
Yeah.
With that,
As long as you have, like, nobody kind of like governing the narrative of it. It's like I mean, I hate to say this too. I hate being the fucking party pooper, but uh, the whole ancient civilizations thing, like prehistoric civilizations before mankind and all this.
like Atlantis that we
They're
were
yeah,
talking about.
they're testing samples of the what the structures are made of. Okay, there's a problem there. The problem is we don't really have a great way of testing when that was made out of that substance. We're like, oh, this building is made of 184 million year old stone, so that's proof. No, that just means the stone is that old. It was probably close to that old when the people made it, when they started chiseling away at it. You know what I mean? We got to have like good ways of testing this shit, and I don't think we do. I think we do the best we can. Core samples is different. It's like, it's like tree rings. It kind of just fundamentally works,
All right. So can you guys see my mouse?
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is Nazca. The
Okay.
Nazca lines are out here. This is a diatom mine. It's the only diatom mine I could find in Peru.
All right.
Hang on, I got to clear my throat again.
I was
So
trying to find that.
when they say near,
Yeah.
I mean you're talking like from what, Georgia to the Florida Keys.
Yeah.
That's quite a distance. Well, maybe not so far. Maybe it's half that. Right? I wonder if I can
I was about to say,
Is that elevation we're seeing? Is that like a declining elevation towards the water?
This is actually a reserve. It's a wildlife reserve.
I got you.
So those are circled. See, there's one here. There's one here. Yeah, that's really curious. Now I've lost. Oh no, I lost my.
Lost your mind.
I lost my mind. There's a joke there. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like there's quite a bit of distance to claim that it's near the Nazca lines. I mean, like in respect to where we are, yeah. It's a whole lot closer to the Nazca lines than we are.
Right.
But
I wish they would show all of them. I'd like to see all 14 of them.
Right.
Because that's another thing too, is the consistency of them.
Well, I mean,
like these two, they're pretty consistent. They're similar, but they're not exact. Structures are similar. One's taller than the other.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to make it look like it's a male and a female.
Yeah. Although, if I'm being honest, there doesn't seem to be any
discernible difference besides height.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that I know we're working on this here on Earth, but the sexes, it's apparent here, male and female, sexes, but it may not be as whatever as you know what I mean? It may not be as rigid of a rule out there somewhere. I was looking into this one planet, technically considered like an exoplanet, I guess.
Yeah.
It's called Kepler. God damn it, I lost it.
How many fucking Keplers are there?
There's a lot of Keplers. Kepler's 186F.
We've talked about Kepler 186 on the show before, but I think it was a different letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember talking about that in the garage back when we used to do the show out there.
Apparently near this planet is an exoplanet that is in the same habitable zone that is 0.026 the size of Earth.
Don't they call that the Goldilocks zone?
Yeah, Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
So this is a little exoplanet that's massively smaller than Earth. Possibly smaller than our moon. You know what I mean? I don't even know what the percentage of our Earth, the moon is, but you would, if you had intelligent life that became sentient, that started to evolve, it would produce smaller beings. The only problem with this is that Kepler's fucking far.
Right.
500 light years from Earth. 500 years to get here. The only way you're doing it is if you can suspend animation for a while. And then there's no return trip for them. They're not making it back. At least not in the time, it takes to get back and, debrief somebody. More than likely, 1,000 years later, you get back, that it's kind of a coin flip whether your people are even still there or not. A lot of shit can happen in 1,000 years. Look what happened in like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit can happen in 1,000 years. That's pretty bad averages.
I mean, that's an excellent point. Think about what it was like from 2019 to now.
Yes, a lot of shit can go 19 pretty quick.
Yeah.
So this, to me, I'm not sold completely on these mummies, but I think the idea is not too out there. Like, well, maybe these dudes were on some kind of expedition.
The thing I don't understand with their presentation of them is they're just in wooden boxes.
Yeah.
Like the one picture you showed, they've got glass over it.
Yeah.
Right. But
Right.
when I guess they do have glass. I see the line now. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there just wasn't a glare.
I don't know. Where's that? Where's the first one's at? Oh, it was video we were watching, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a video. I think maybe they just had it angled at the exact position where you couldn't see the glass.
Let's see.
But okay, so
I mean that right there, that looks like a slot for glass. I don't know if you guys. No, you can't even see that. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. See that line?
Yeah, that is glass there. That's my mistake. I didn't see it before.
I didn't either.
But my next point is going to be that every time they present a mummy of any sort, the box has glass on 3 sides. It's the sides, it's the top, and the ends.
Yeah.
The bottom is solid. Why would you build a container to view these things and then recess them down in to where the only way you can view them is from above?
The one other thing too is, look how big those fucking boxes are.
Yeah.
Compared to like what he just said, like most mummies, like we have caskets that the size, it's built for the size of the like whatever person. But these things are so tiny. They made these things that's a fucking toolbox.
Right.
Why is it that big? And the way it looks too is like, I don't think that's just dirt. I think that it's a whole thing. It's like still encased in the rock in some ways. Because that's the only thing that makes sense to it. Because what he was what Josh was saying is like, what would be the point? Other than another thing too is like what you were saying to, I guess, keep bacteria out, that you said, like to dump some of that stuff in there or what? I don't know.
That's what I was kind of like confused about, was what, I mean, if it's dried out with diatomaceous earth, like this one here, he don't have the 3 toes or the 3 fingers. What's up with that? Why is he so different? This one's quite a bit bigger. 3 toes, 3 fingers. I don't know. It's weird. Could you imagine though, with 3 toes and 3 fingers, what their mathematics system would be like?
Everything would be in 3s.
Yeah, always primal 3s, like we're primal 10s, primal 5s.
We're primal 5, yeah.
Yeah. So could you imagine it? We would be talking to them and like the math. Oh my god, it would be like worse than the metric system. We would have to like convert everything over to, we're like, yeah, man, Taco Bell's like 5 miles down the road, but they're like, what is that in finger miles? Oh, that's like 7,200 finger miles, I guess, for you guys.
Jumped really high.
Right. Well, it's because they measure everything by laying their 3 fingers together.
Hey, we order booze in 3 fingers, so
Yeah.
Eh?
well, there's common ground there at least.
Yeah. Could you imagine hanging out with these little bitty dudes and they're like absolute party animals?
They're like the little dudes from Men in Black with their coffee,
Yeah.
only with booze.
They're just like,
and cocaine.
you're like, God damn it, I gotta call the cops, man. I got them damn little aliens out there. They're trashing my yard. They're throwing their beer cans everywhere. Get out of my yard, you little 3-fingered bastards.
I don't know, man. To me, it's like, why wouldn't you present X-rays? Why wouldn't you present anything scientific besides corpses? Especially corpses that don't look good.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to this.
The presentation's a big deal to me, like how they're alleged. You know what I mean? But there's a couple things about it I can say are compelling. One I'm gonna say is the look of them. My brain immediately goes, I could have designed a better alien.
Right.
And that's actually kind of what you're wanting is, you know what I mean? Like we want an irrefutable alien sitting in front of us with an absolute clear to science explanation of how its body works and why. But we're just not going to get that. If it comes from somewhere else, if it comes from a different, world, different biological evolution, you're not going to get a nice and neat looking organism where I'm sure that we probably look, insane to other creatures. They're like, oh God, look at all the extra fingers and toes they have.
Right.
They got hair everywhere. What is up with these things?
Right.
It probably doesn't make sense. The only difference being is that, apparently they come here and snatch us up so they could dissect us and take a look at us where we can't do that to them, which is kind of bullshit. It's not fair. So every now and again, maybe the government finds a body or snatches one of these things and they're like, all right, tables of turns, the table's on the other foot.
The table's on the other foot.
Yeah. You guys remember that when what was it, like the 90s when the alien autopsy show came out on it was like on Fox or something, and they were like trying to debunk it, and it was so blatantly fake. It was like you're sitting there watching it and they're like dissecting it, like they're like, yeah, is this real footage or is this a sham?
I don't think I remember that show.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I bet I could pull up a piece of it here. Let's see. Probably one of my favorite toys from the 80s too. I wonder if anybody out there will remember this one. Dissect the Alien. Probably the coolest toy that ever came out of the 80s. It had a little alien, and you filled him full of he had like all of his organs, and you put those in and you filled him full of slime. And then you dissected him.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh man, that was cool too. Hang on. I gotta show you guys this. Dissect the Alien. Oh man, this is so cool. Wow, they're expensive as shit on eBay. Where's it at here? Here it is. There's the toy. There's your that gray thing in the middle is your like scalpel. There's all the organs.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. I remember you see all the way to the left, in the middle, that pink thing.
Yeah.
That was the breastplate, and it was a pain in the ass to get it back in. Once you like took him apart, you could not get that piece back in, so you just like flung it. But yeah, you filled him full of slime, and you just sit there and you pull all the guts out. It was so gross. It was so fun. Yeah, we had different stuff back then. Alien Autopsy. Where's this out here? Here we go. I'm gonna bring up my YouTube here. Yeah, Alien Autopsy. This was it. Fact or Fiction, Alien Autopsy. I guess, I mean, it's technically this, but I don't know if this is going to show it, but.
Well, we first have to have an ad, though.
Got to have some ads on here. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, these fuckers just got a free ad on our show.
Yeah. I'll zip this right out of there.
Yeah. Fuck them.
You're getting free ads on us.
No free ad space.
Yeah. Now another one. Fuck another one. Let's see here. Okay, there's no footage of it. Yeah, at the very end. Here it is. Okay, at the very end, that was the footage.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember that.
Yeah. Surprisingly human-like features.
Yeah.
I love that they go through here and there's clearly nothing there, and then they blur it.
Right.
He looks appalled.
Well, wouldn't you be?
I can't believe you're dissecting me. Yeah. So, I don't know. They did that in it was like the 90s or something, and it was so lame.
Yeah, I remember.
Still watched it.
I think there was more to that video too. Do you remember when they had like the interview with an alien?
Yeah. That one's pretty wild. Another one that's been floating around for years. Very cryptic messages of the future.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The alien says that they're technically us.
Right.
From the future. And I'm like, well, you say that, but there's a whole lot of paradoxes of time travel that nobody seems to be able to get the math to work around.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, but here for some fun at the end of this here. The TikTok where somebody made a cake that looked like the aliens. Pretty fucking hilarious.
That's fucking great.
I found a much better alien cake.
That's a pretty good alien cake.
I feel like that's a good one. I would actually like one of these for my birthday. Yeah.
There you go, Tyler. Big Denny and alien cake.
Can you make me an alien cake, Tyler? Have you ever made a cake, Tyler?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that the first one you ever make is going to be overly complex. I wish that wasn't so blurry, because what the hell is that on the right?
It said it was like what the aliens look like when they arrive in Texas. Yeah. A lot of fun, and one more that's not right.
Right.
That's just not right. There's no way.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy. Elvira. Crazy.
Not aging and shit. 72 years old.
Oh God. So wait, the guys want to let them have their week. Or do we have anything to add?
I'm good.
Well, I don't know. You guys out there, you've been blown up to YouTube. Let us know. Tell us something. What do you think?
Give us a topic that you want us to cover too. I mean,
yeah, point us in the right direction.
Yeah, give us something to talk about.
Interesting.
And we've been thinking branch out a little bit.
Yeah, we might start talking about all kinds of shit.
So what do you
You
guys
never
want us
know.
to talk about?
You never know what we might
Yeah.
go into.
You never know what we might say.
Gender stuff and COVID.
Oh, God, this is
And
going
politics
bad. This
and
is
religion.
bad.
Politics and religion.
Let's just
Oh,
have
God, this is bad.
Oh God, it's going
I
down.
bow out.
You see Tyler get up and walk away. Nope. Anyway, take care of each other out there. Be good.
see you guys.